I decided not to set a time because I'm always late. So I'm just gonna do these lives when I feel like it. And if you hear, you hear. Otherwise, you can watch it later. Okay. So secrets revealed how I manifested $1.5 million without working harder, without investments, without winning the lottery, and without a sugar daddy. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how I did this because you probably want to know. Um, and Jasper, you're not going to interrupt, are you? My son's home today because he has got a cold. Okay, so a lot of the stuff that you've been taught about money is wrong. Okay, so that's what you need to understand first. So my name's Honor Newman, for those who don't know me, and I was the biggest fucking people pleaser on earth. I was the biggest good girl. I was the hardest worker ever, and it was getting me nowhere. So about a year ago, I hired a money coach to because I was struggling with the bills and had become a single mom, and I managed to manifest an entire house and a whole heap of other stuff, a 100K job, private school education for my kids, all my legal fees paid for, everything, um, by working less. So how did I do this? So this is what I want you to understand. So the universe is a massive provider, okay? So you've got to learn how to work with the universe to get what you want. And even though that's quite a spiritual concept, there's some very, very practical things that you can do with this. So basically, it's about basically doing the opposite of everything you've been taught. So what have you been taught? You've been taught go to school, get an education, work really hard, get everything set up so that when you retire, you can enjoy it all. Um, and basically, working really hard can work, but for women especially, it's not fun. So there is another way. And that other way is all about letting go, right? Okay. So it's about letting go of all the things in your life that don't light you up. So what I did in the year that I manifested this was basically a lot of crying and a lot of grieving and a lot of letting go of a lot of things that just weren't working for me anymore. And because as you start to let go of all these things, you you start to listen to what you actually want, you become more in touch with who you are and your feminine nature, and that's when the masculine provides. So the more, we all have a lot of negative programming about how we should do, what we should do, how we should be from day one, but that's not really us. And it turns us into this kind of um, people pleaser, and that's not attractive to the universe's provision. So, you need to be a magnet for the provision and the money. And you do that by getting back in touch with who you really are. And for most people, pretty much all people, that involves shedding layers of programming. And that's pretty much all I did. Like, I'll get into a job, I realize this isn't for me, I quit. Um, and, just letting go. Basically, that was it. So I was always working, working, working really, 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 really hard. And that was actually blocking because it was a wounded energy. I was doing it out of insecurity, um, and fear that if I didn't work this hard, then I was going to be broke. But what it actually did was made me broke. And so what I had to do was learn to relax and trust that the right things are coming to me. And to do that and to let those things in, you need to create space. And creating space means being, it means sometimes doing nothing, because you need to allow space for these things to come in. And so that's what letting go is letting go of all the stuff that's getting in the way. And it can be inside you, or it can be relationships, it can be beliefs and mindsets. It can be jobs. You got to learn how to kick absolutely everything that you don't love out of your life. And that is when it's going to start working. And the more you can do it, like I'm on my second round now of letting go. So the first round is when I got the house and all that kind of stuff. And I've just been enjoying that since it happened. But now I'm ready to go to the next level. I'm like, okay, so I've got to again say no to more things, get rid of more things. I'm doing a career change. I realized it wasn't right for me. I'm like, these friendships aren't good enough for me. All this kind of stuff. And I've got people coming in all the time saying, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, do you want to join this group? Hey, do you want to come here? And I've got to really sit and think, do I actually want to do this? Does this sound fun and awesome? Or is this boring? You got to get in touch with your boring. Anything that you find boring, kick it to the curb. That is what's going to bring you the cash. Um, so, this can be challenging at the start, but it's definitely worth it. So yeah, if you want some support to start, releasing this stuff out of your energy field and getting back into high feminine, which is, your true nature. High feminine is when you are in alignment with who you are, and then that attracts high masculine, which is money, experiences, everything. It's provision. So if you'd like some support with that process, I am offering one-on-ones at the moment. So just send me a message and we'll get started. And it's going to be awesome. But I only want people that are really ready. They're really like, fuck yeah, I want to do this. I don't want anyone wimpy, I want clients that light me up, because otherwise that's going to affect my money flow, if you know what I mean. So we've got to help each other. All right. Well, this is all I have to say today. So, bye. Yeah. It doesn't have to be long.